Hi everybody. In this video we are going to do the solo section to Crazy Train, and like the rest of the videos that I've done for the other parts of Crazy Train, we're going to use the Randy Rhoads isolated guitar tracks. Again, this kind of excites me, being able to hear Randy play without the band and actually hear the track that he did. We're going to do this one kind of slow, and I'm going to do this phrase by phrase so you can work your way all the way through the solo and then build it up to speed. So let's get started. Okay, now that you've heard Randy play the isolated tracks without the band, let's get started with his phrasing. We're going to start on the B string with the 7th and 10th fret, which is going to be your F sharp and A. And he kind of gets the lick started a little bit with the... He does that a couple of times, but before we even jump into that, the two tap notes that he's going to use are the 14th fret and the 15th fret on the B string, which is going to be your C sharp and D. The actual pattern with the right hand is I know that sounds kind of strange all by itself, but when you put it into context and up to speed like that, that's what gives it that bubbly kind of feel to it. So it gets this started. That's what you have for the first part of the phrase. The second half of that, as you've probably seen the hundreds of other videos, that everybody's using a Les Paul like Randy did live, and he was coming up to another part to do the bend. But in the studio, you can hear that he's clearly using a vibrato bar. So here's what that sounds like at the end of the phrase. Then he's going to go into two notes here. It's going to be your E, which is the 9th fret on your G string, and he bends. And comes up to the back up to the A, which is your 10th fret on the B. Here it is again, nice and slow. That's your first phrase of the solo. Randy's then going to climb up to the top, up to the 17th fret, and he's going to play the high E string 17, 16, 14, which is going to give you A, G sharp, F sharp. And he's going to bend the 17th fret on the B string, which is going to be your E note. Here it is slow. And he's going to climb back up, starting on the E string 14, 16, 17, which is going to be your F sharp, G sharp, and A. That's the next little phrase. Next phrase after that is going to be a little bit of a longer run. Here it is, one more time slow. Okay, here are the notes. It's going to be 14, 17, 14 on your high E, which is going to be F sharp, A, and F sharp. You're going to go up to the B string and grab the 17th fret, which is going to be E, back to 14, which is going to be your F sharp. Then it's going to be the B string, 17, 15, 14, which is going to be E, D, C sharp, back to the D and the C sharp, 16 on the G string, which is going to give you B, 14 on the B string, which is going to give you C sharp. Then it's going to go back to the G string, 16, 14, 16, which is going to be B, A, B. And you're going to bend that. And then it's going to come up to the B string, 17, back to your E note. And it's going to end on the 14th fret of your G string, which is going to be A. Here it is, one more time, slow. Okay, the next phrase is going to start right where you left off with the last one on the 14th fret of the G string, which is your A note. It's going to go A, B, up Up to the B string, it's going to be 14, 17, which is going to be your C sharp and E. And the next one's going to be 14, 17 on your high E string, which is going to be F sharp and A. And this is what's going to start the little trill section. So I'm just going to give you the numbers so it's not so much information coming by. But it's going to be 14, 17. The next one that's going to move up to is going to be 16 and 19. Next one is going to be 17 and 21. The next one is going to be 17, 19, so you can keep this finger right where it was. And then what happens here is Randy slides his first finger down, so when he's doing the 17, 19, then he goes down to the 16, 19. It sounds like this. And you'll hear it when it's up to speed kind of thing, so you get that kind of... And that's the end of that phrase. Okay, the next little phrase is going to be a short one. He's going to come all the way back down to the 14th fret of the high E string, which is going to give you your F sharp, and he's going to do 14, 15, 14, which is going to give you F sharp, G, F sharp, and he's going to reach up to the B string 17 and bend the E note. And if you notice when I bend like that, my pinky is pointing at the 17th fret of the high E string, and he's going to grab that note. So here's what it looks like. And back to the B string 17. That's the little phrase. This one's kind of tricky. Once you get it under your fingers, you'll never forget it. Now, right where we're going to leave off here for the next little phrase, we're going to stay on the B string, and it's going to be 15, 14, 16, 14 on the G string, 16, 14, 16 on the D string, back to the 16, and 14 on the G, and he keeps that pattern going for 3 times. So what he's going to do is this. Now the next little phrase is going to be back on the G string, and he's going to grab the 13th and 14th fret and do another trill. And he ends it with the 16th fret. So here's what it sounds like slow. Up to speed. So instead of counting that as 1, 2, 3, 4, however, you kind of want to get the feel for it. That's what Randy was doing. Next phrase is going to come into the very end of the solo. Now, I've seen this one written out a whole bunch of different times in different places, and they're all kind of cool in their own way. I found a real simple way to do it, and when you listen again to the isolated track, you'll hear how Randy gets to the very high note on the end. There's one that you can almost not hear. So it's going to start on your low E string on the 11th fret, and this is really fast from the 11. You don't really hear the 11, but he slides into the 12th fret. The phrase is going to be on your low E string. It's going to be 12, 14, 16, which is going to be E, F sharp, and G sharp. You're going to keep that pattern for the A string and the D string. So you get 12, 14, 16 on the A, which is going to be A, B, and C sharp. D string is going to be 12, 14, 16, which is going to be D, E, and F sharp. And here's where you're going to actually make a shift. You're going to take your whole hand after you do. You're going to put your first finger on the 14, and you're going to play 14, 16, 18, which is going to give you E, F sharp, G sharp. G string is going to be 14, 16, 18, and it's going to give you A, B, and C sharp. Look where my ring finger is. It's pointing right at the very next note, which is going to be your 17 on your B string, 14 on your high E, and this note is going to be very, very quiet and quick. He grabs the 17 with his ring finger, but slides to the 19 to do that famous bend at the very end of it. Here it is again, whole thing nice and slow. Here it is again, nice and slow. Okay, everybody, we went through that one nice and slow. On the way out, I'm going to give you the tab again, and I'm going to let you listen to Randy play it. Isolated track, so it's just Randy and however many guitars he recorded. To me, I'm guessing it sounds like 3. Play this slow, learn it, pass it on. See you guys in the next video.